go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. I just want to introduce Hillaree Hamblin. She has made this beautiful installation, and we're so thankful because it is something that she's never done before. So this is definitely an iteration of her work and her installation work that we were really excited to have here at Bosque. So thank you so much for being here. But I'm going to let her talk, and then we'll take some questions.
Okay. Well, welcome guys. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start off by thanking Heather, the Bosque Gallery Coordinator. I think that's your official title, but Heather has been such an angel throughout this whole process and really the last week. It was a lot getting everything done, but Heather sat with me to help me figure out the layout of the show, and we spent a good amount of time just the first day getting everything ready. So Heather, thank you so much. This show is really special to me. Some of y'all know that I got my associates at Lone Star before I started, so I was here back in 2007, 8. So I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was a long time ago. So it's really special to be back here with you guys. A lot of the works in this show, really everything has to do with the calming effects of being out in the natural world. So in my work, I like to think about what we can celebrate with the intricacies of nature, but I also lean into the unknown aspects of the natural world too, leaning into things like outer space and thinking about that tension between what we know and what we don't know. So I consider my work kind of to exist in this like mysterious middle hybrid ground of existence. So a lot of the works, they kind of reference nature, but they also have this mysterious sort of abstract quality to them that I think speaks to just the mystery that we have in our everyday. So I have a longer talk scheduled for April 9th, if anybody's available at, is it 1:30 on April 9th? If y'all are here and you want to come see a longer talk. But I'll be here tonight if anybody wants to talk longer about any piece in particular. But I'll open it up for any questions if y'all have anything that you want to talk about. Yes?
Do you have a favorite piece?
Oh, you know, actually, this piece, so Heather suggested using natural materials that I brought in for a larger piece. This kind of ended up being my favorite in the show because I think it speaks to all just the materials that I'm inspired by in my work and also the sacred quality to nature. I feel like I personally get very spiritually energized by being in the natural world. So I wanted to make an altar that spoke to that, but also reference all the materials that I brought in. So a lot of these I found at my mom's house. My mom lives in Belleville. I don't know if y'all know where that is, but it's kind of out in the country. So I forged all of these from my mom's house and wanted to bring the outside in so that there's this combining of spaces between the inside and the outside. Anything else? Yes, Carrie.
How did you think about your approach to color in this exhibit? Because it's very sparing, but there are a couple pieces that have just this little hint that comes into them.
I really, especially with the time of year as well, I wanted to think about the transition from winter and death and decay into new spring. So I wanted the color to be used really sparingly to reference this idea of spring. So only a couple of the pieces have color. It's also something I'm exploring more in my work by adding more color to the works on paper, but I wanted to bring in like just muted color to reference just new life in spring, I think. Anything else? Yes.
What inspired you to create all the pieces?
I think I've been trying to look for things that bring me peace and calm in my life, and nature has always been a constant through line for me in my work. So I wanted to use this exhibition to really highlight this meditative aspect of being in nature. Like, life is so chaotic, I think we all need something to help ground us in this world, and for me, that's being out in the organic. And I feel like if more people did engage with nature on the daily, we'd all be much better people, personally. Personally.
So, Hillaree, are
Yes.
all of these graphite on paper or some print?
No, all of these are graphite on paper. All the framed works are graphite. The installation pieces are found materials that I've kind of forged from around like my environment, but all the works on paper are graphite.
So my follow-up question, I'm looking at some of the larger pieces. There seems to be an awful lot of detail. Like the one next to you there, could you give us an idea of how much time you put into just that single piece?
So this one I started when we had the winter storm in January because I was locked in my apartment for several days. So that this is probably the newest piece that I have in the show. That's the newest one. So she just got finished about 2 weeks ago. So ever since January, I've been working on her. I feel like my work does take a lot of time because I'm also referencing or trying to encapsulate the slow movements of nature. Thus, the title Soft Bloom also references this idea of like moving at nature's pace and not feeling forced to move at any other pace but our own. So it's a take on the idea of late bloomer, and I hate that term because I feel like everybody moves at their own pace, everybody has their own rhythms. So the work does take a long time. But the bigger piece is that piece, that back one right there, and this one are the two newest ones that I had. And yeah, they took a little bit of time to make. But everything in here usually takes quite a bit of time. Yes?
Not based on like time, but like, what was the one that was like the hardest for you to like?
Oh, the hardest. The one that made me cry. the one, you know, I don't know. I think I've cried a little bit with all of them at some point, but maybe, honestly, this installation gave me a lot of anxiety because I kept worrying that things were going to fall or just not stay up. So I'm really happy that she's still alive and well. It's been a week and she seems okay. But there's always a point with my work where I want to cry a little bit. Like there's a little stress with everything. So, but I kind of think that's healthy. I feel like you should be a little bit stressed about your work, just a little bit. Yes, Haley.
So, okay, I've got a couple questions.
Okay.
So I feel like when I look at your work, you know, I get a lot of like senses of like pattern and repetition and things like that. Are there certain images or like designs that you tend to like circle back to when you make these works? Like as you're kind of in this meditative process, are there things that you find repeating throughout your work?
I think a lot of it, goes back to nature as well. And for me, like to find meditation, I like repetition. I think repetition's very soothing. But I find subconsciously that I'm also referencing a lot of natural patterns and materials. Like the one on the back, this one back here I realized was referenced by falling leaves during fall. So I'm seeing now like how subconsciously nature's been present in my work like throughout my whole practice, which is what I wanted to really highlight for the show. But yeah, I like a lot of that. I like repeating things. It calms me down.
And then my second question
Yes.
was kind of about like the 3D works you have here. I haven't ever seen you do like 3D stuff before yet.
Surprise, surprise.
I guess I'm wondering like how was that process making these like little altars and how, you know, your thought process with your 2D work translates it all to your 3D pieces?
I feel like it's the same process of pattern and intricacy and detail. Like the way that I build my installations tends to be very similar to the way that I build my drawings. Or in the past I've done more soft sculpture. I'm kind of in the middle of that, but I see these as little hybrid babies. So a lot of the patterns that I find like in the installations wind up in the drawings too. But a lot of it's really subconscious and I make those connections later. But these flower forms I think are really in a lot of the works, and also this altar shape, which finds its way into the glass domes, or even like the installation. I think there's a lot of those shapes in my work too. So I think kind of subconsciously everything feeds into each other.
Anyone else? All right, well, Hillaree, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for coming today. Thank you. Thank you.